Hi, T.O.T. Carlson here. It has been a very long time since I reviewed any video games on this channel, but I actually did pick up a new retro console, so I wanted to review that on here as well. The console I picked up was the Sega Genesis Mini 2. This is only available through Amazon Japan. You can order it through Amazon's American site, but it's not sold in stores. I was lucky enough to find one of these used in Zia Records here in Vegas. I think I paid about $120 for this after tax, so I'm going to unbox this release, share my opinion, talk about the system, let you know if it gets my recommendation or not. So, nice close-up of the box there. It is a small box, so I had a hard time fitting everything back in, so it looks like everything's bulging slightly. That's why. Nice close-up there. This is modeled after the Sega Genesis 2. There were 3 body styles of the Genesis released in America. This was the second one. The original Genesis Mini was, of course, modeled after the first model, so there's our nice close-up there. This apparently gets a teen rating from the ESRB. Side of the box, other side of the box, bottom of the box. Here's the back of the box, which shows off some of the games. There's a full list of titles here. I'm not going to go through and read off each of those, but we get 41 Genesis games, 12 Sega CD games, and then 7 additional unreleased games or new ports. So, I mean, some of the highlights here, you have Sonic CD, Sonic 3D Blast, Super Street Fighter 2, Earthworm Jim 2, and you even get things like, as far as those new ports go, there's like a new port of Fantasy Zone and a new port of Space Harrier and Puyo Puyo. So, pretty nice assortment there. That, of course, is the top of the box there with the nice big Genesis logo. Let's see what we get in this box. Okay, first up we have our USB power port, and I'm really happy to see that included because a lot of retro game systems don't like to include the power port. We then have our actual USB cord. This, of course, connects to the back of the system and then plugs into the wall through the port that I just showed. So here's this. Here's the end that plugs into the system. And there's our standard USB end. In here we have our HDMI cable. Yeah, and here this is rolled out. And these actually have little protector caps on the end. Those easily come off. We then come to our controller, and there's good news and bad news on the controller front. Bad news is you only get one controller. The good news is it's the 6-button controller. The Genesis Mini 1 just came with the 3-button controller, so you would have had to have bought a 6-button one to play some of the fighting games. But you know, this set's got this, so if you want to play something like Clay Fighter or Super Street Fighter 2, you got all the buttons you need right there. And you can actually buy additional 6-button controllers separately. I actually did a review for a transparent blue one that they're selling as well a few years back. You can see all the buttons there. You know, you got your ABC buttons, X, Y, Z, your directional pad, start button, and there's a mode button that's just right in the groove of the controller for going back to the main menu screen. Lastly, and of course most importantly, we have the console itself. And that looks very nice. I mean, you do have the mock spring-loaded game entry. This does not use cartridges. All the games are pre-uploaded on the system, but I do like the attention to detail. Down here you got your power switch right there, and then you got the reset button that takes you back to the main menu. You got, these are of course are USB ports because the controller uses USB, which is nice because that's a good universal format, and it means you might be able to use the controller and some other stuff too. If you look closely on there, you can even sort of see the Sega logo. It's kind of hard to see on the camera. So as far as the interface on the system goes, it's pretty similar to the first Genesis Mini, but again, the color scheme is a little different, and of course the game selection is different as well. So you can go through here easily scrolling through the games. You can alphabetize them, you can organize them in other ways, depending on whatever floats your boat. You can see all the covers for the systems, but if you prefer, you can actually organize everything by the spines, so it actually looks like they're lined up on your shelf. Some people might prefer that method, I don't know. And then you have the options of different borders you can play the games with. You You can stretch it to fill the hole of a widescreen TV, which really doesn't look that good. I myself just want to play these in the proper aspect ratio, and I just have no border up. I just prefer the black matte bars myself. That feels a little more traditional and pure if you ask me. You can even adjust the language on the systems, which changes the artwork and the games themselves, so you can actually play the different regional variants. That's something I really appreciate, and of course it was that way with the first Genesis Mini as well. I do have to say, if you are a fan of the Sega Genesis, and there's games in here that you're a fan of, even if there's games that you're not necessarily a fan of, I think you'll be taken with this, and it'll provide you with a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie, not every game that's included here is a good game, and there are a lot of wasted opportunities. In particular, I was disappointed not to see Sonic and Knuckles included, or the Sonic and Knuckles attachment with the other games and how it modifies those. Also, you got the Sega CD stuff in here. I was really surprised not to see some of those legendary RPGs show up in here, like the Lunar series, which comes to mind. I am happy that we got this system. I think it's maybe a little overpriced and hard to get, but if you can find one and you're a fan, you're willing to shell out the money, I think it's certainly worth picking up. There's a lot of value here, and fans of Sega, these games, or anything in between, I don't think are going to be disappointed with what they find here. Are you a fan of the Sega Genesis, and did you pick up a Sega Genesis Mini 2 yet? Is this one of your favorite retro consoles so far? And if not, what is? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.